What's up, Rosen?
Word. What's up, dude?
Going on? Hello.
No,
Football.
no Giants hat, no Giants anything.
Not really
Okay,
owning anything at the moment.
We are live. Ready?
He
You
only
guys
has
ready
Eagles jerseys.
Ah.
That's
Okay,
right.
you guys ready? So, Rosen, we're just gonna, do the intro, and then
Yeah.
we'll introduce you, and then we can start talking about. How do you want to do it, Doug? You want to talk about how you want to go through all of our teams and how they suck?
Let's just have an open fantasy forum if you want. I mean, if you want to rip, like if you had shit prepared to rip my franchise, which really deserves it, fucking go nuts. But yeah, we could do one team at a time.
Okay.
I'll wait.
Okay.
I'll obviously let you direct what we're going to talk about. I would like at some point to talk about the Giants only.
Oh yeah. No, we are.
Why don't we do that? Why don't we do that first, right? Because
yeah,
that way...
and then Mike, and we can segue into the fact that we're playing each other in 2 leagues, and then we can go nuts on fantasy, right?
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm like in both leagues now projected to lose to you, so that's interesting. Anyway, all right, cool. Let's do it.
Jared Goff, baby.
Jared Goff. I'm gonna hit record.
No, I mean I don't know, man. Sky Moore gave me 0.
Hello, and welcome to another episode. A very, very, very important episode. An episode that's had me up all night. I woke up at 5:45 Pacific time. It is now 8:01 Pacific time on Sunday, September 10th, 2023. And we have special guest, Doug, and we have a very big day. What's today, Doug?
Today's football day. Today's football day.
Today's football. It's finally here.
Hi, guys. I'm Doug, and God, yeah, it's a good day.
Good day.
It's a good day to have a beer. It's week 1 of the NFL, in case you're watching this in December, because I know you are. Holy shit. And I'm going to be on this all day, and I gave you a preview in the text thread, but fuck off all these off-season opinions. They go away today, right?
Today.
The things we're wrong about, we're going to find out. Finally.
Today.
So anyway, I'm going to have a beer. Josh, it is great to have you here. I'm going to let you talk in a second, but I got to do this fucking bit, Tools. Let's talk about tools. I've never picked one up in my life, but I know a good one when I taste one, and that's Industrial Arts. They make some cool, good beers. Wrench, tools of the trade. There's power tools. It's all a bunch of hazy bullshit, but it's from Beacon, New York, and I love Beacon, New York. Shout out. So cheers, fellas. I'm going to have the tools of the trade because I am a tool when it comes to making trades. How about that?
I think that's not true. That would be the other gentleman that's joining us today. Wait, hold on. Let me introduce you before you start talking.
Anyway, Mike, it's a little early. Are you drinking?
I am drinking coffee.
You Irish it up a bit, maybe?
No. We had our company picnic and my brother-in-law's 17th birthday yesterday. I was given the green light to not have to drive home from dinner because I had quite a few drinks. So
say no more.
And I have the green light today to go watch football all day from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. The only thing that sucks is these guys aren't playing today. Yeah. So only thing I'm going to be doing is watching my fantasy league scores and hopefully beating you, which we'll talk about a little later.
How many?
But before we get 5, but we'll talk about that a little later too. Let's talk about our very special guest who's been a big proponent of the show, our number one fan.
Oh my God, yes.
Finally on every live stream. I think the only person that actually watches the show. But
him and Hobie.
That's great. No, it's Jed. Jed just has 3 different ways of watching the show. He was supposed to be here today, but he's in Chicago eating sausages and beef sandwiches and whatever else you do in Chicago. But we don't want to talk about Jed. We want to talk about Joshua Rosenstein. Joshua Rosen, not the fucking failed quarterback from 7 different franchises.
No,
but
this Josh looks a lot better right now. I'm willing to
This Josh looks a lot better. Josh, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yes, I've been watching since the beginning. I remember when you guys were testing, still in the experimental phase for the pod, and Mike sent me a link that was maybe a year ago, I'd say, and I got to listen to that experimentation while I was making dinner, and I was super excited. It's kind of cool. Yeah, and I'm there when I know you guys are going to be on. If not, I catch up later. But I appreciate you having me on because I love football. And I was up at 5 a.m. this morning because I could never sleep. I could never sleep before football season.
I was the same way.
Even if we go into a year and I think my team's going to stink,
Right.
I still, expectations were 0-0. Let's go. So I'm very excited. And after I finish my coffee, I will be joining you with a new mountain.
No, Josh. That's not how this show works. Guests have to start drinking immediately. So either slam your coffee and open your drink, or you're going to just double fist. Your choice. Let's see.
With the Irishing it up, I thought about doing that. So that's allowed.
You can also just put some Kahlua in there.
That's
or
a new protocol
Baileys.
that I don't know about, but you're put into place. I will slam the rest of my coffee and begin.
Mike, was that a good idea?
Yes, we have 55 minutes, and that means Josh, we got to get him lubed up by at least the second half of the show. We need the entertainment factor.
So yeah, that's a great point, and I'm going to let Josh talk some more. Josh, you are a Giants fan. We have obviously bonded over the team over the years. Tell us how you became one, and anything you wanted to say about them overall.
I've been a Giants fan since I was little. I know that I was aware of the Giants winning the Super Bowl in the 86-87 season. I don't remember it. I know that I watched it. Everything after that, though, I was old enough to remember. I love that team. And there have been some tough years. And the last decade hasn't been great. But I am super excited about the Brian Daboll era. And, and I'd love to get into them at some point. And we'll go from there. I think of all my teams, Giants, Mets, Devils, and Knicks, it's Giants by a mile, and then everybody else. So
of course, I think it's because in this fine country that we call America, it is sacrilege to not be a football fan. And every other sport, there's so many fucking games, right? We talked, Doug, on the show about there's 162 games before you even get to the postseason in MLB. And it's too many games. 80 or 82 games in basketball, 80 or 82 games in hockey. I can't remember which one has 82 and which one has 80.
It's a lot, yeah.
And so, they become mundane. Half of them run together. And I can't commit half a year to baseball. I can't commit a quarter of a year to watching every regular season basketball or hockey game, although I try with hockey, but basketball and baseball, I can't. And so with football, you have 17 games before playoffs, right? 17 games, or it's 17 games now, right? Yeah, 17 games.
It'll be 18 soon.
18 weeks, right? Well, still, 2 preseason games and 18 games makes sense. So it's a fucking holiday. Every Sunday from September till January is a holiday, right? And then now there's Thursdays and Mondays and sometimes Fridays and Saturdays or whatever the fuck else. But my point is, Sunday is a holiday, right? And it's your favorite because you grew up and you went to school Monday through Friday. And then Saturday, whatever you did on Saturday in the fall, you went pumpkin picking or drank pumpkin spice lattes or whatever. And then on Sunday, you rested and you sat in front of your television, at least in my home, and you watched football with your family. And in my home, we were Jewish. My father would go to Gold's Deli in Westport, and he would get a spread. He would get pastrami and roast beef and corned beef and rye bread and knishes and pickles and whatever. And we would just eat and graze all day and watch the Giants. Usually, first we'd watch the Jets because they were always on at 1 o'clock because they always stunk. And then the Giants came on at 4.
Madden and Summerall, 4 p.m.
Yeah,
CBS.
Yes, exactly. Yep. And by that point, I had enough pastrami to clog one artery at 8 years old. And I got to watch football all day with my family. And that, to me, is why it is, it's the most important of the sports, right? And You can't get it anywhere else. They've tried to replicate it in Europe and other places, but there's
Yeah.
nowhere else that has a professional league like the United States of America, right? So, anyway,
Well
Merv.
said. Cheers, brothers.
Cheers. I've finished
And,
my coffee, so now I'm ready.
Okay,
No
what
one,
are you drinking, Josh?
no one on the show has ever had a mimosa, right? It's Sunday.
Not true. We've had
Yeah, I think we
multiple
did.
mimosas.
We did one of those first morning show, maybe.
We've done multiple mimosas, but
Yeah.
Well,
you are the first guest to have a mimosa, so
Yes,
you have that distinction.
and it's a fine choice.
Today,
Yeah,
I'll
Doug
be-
made some crazy mimosa
Oh
concoction.
yeah,
one
I was
day.
getting silly with the Chambord that time.
Yes, it was, and there
And
was
the-
like, but wasn't
the
there like
Cointreau.
hemp? There was like some hemp in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Like, then you do like a
The CBD seltzer.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did like a CBD like margarita mimosa
Margarita.
one morning. Yeah,
Yep.
yes.
Nice.
So
Well,
That was
Today
Cinco
will
de
be-
Mayo, I think.
I think it was. I think that is correct.
Today's going to be a new mountain mimosa, a little different.
Okay.
It's what you do in the woods up here in Bear Country. So you take normally, mimosas probably about 80% champagne, 20% orange juice. But the thing is,
Right.
the new mountain mimosa is 100% beer. And so today I'm going with the Prestige, which is from Medusa Brewing. Out
Oh, you
of-
tricked us, Josh.
Yeah.
I really thought you were gonna have a mimosa.
It has a hazy IPA with grapefruit. If you're going to have a fruit in your beer, make it citrus.
Yeah.
Citrus is the only way to go.
I mean, if you have to, but yes.
Is there
Yeah,
any other fruit that you put in a beer? Like,
Oh,
do
no,
people
there are
like
Cherry wheat.
oh,
Remember that
Sam
shit?
Adams. I do remember that shit. That was.
That was your sister's go-to, actually.
I think I may have partaken in quite a few of those back
Oh, yeah.
then when I was fat Mike Curland.
It was buying like Honey Browns and cherry wheat 6-packs back in the day.
Yep. And then when those woodchuck ciders came out and everyone was
God.
like, "Oh yeah, cider beer is so good." Oh, gross. Okay, Josh.
Anyway.
Cheers.
Cheers, Josh.
All right,
Thanks again for coming on,
So,
man.
gentlemen, let's start this off with a
Yeah.
little bit of Josh's preview of the New
Yeah.
York Football Giants.
Take it
what do
away,
you think,
man.
Josh? Because you actually you listened to last week's show and you called me in disgust. And you were like, "I can't believe that Doug picked the Giants to go 7-9 or whatever the
8 and
record
9,
was.
I think.
8-9. I can't believe it. They're definitely going to go like 10-7. What a bullshit pick. He's
Well, I mean,
fucking.
it's fucking 2 weeks.
Well, you know,
jeez.
I mean,
crowd.
but, I know, but he was. Josh is also a homer, and he was like,
Yes.
he's not a homer. I'm a
and I
homer.
respect that, and I expect it.
Yes. So I would like to give Josh his 5 to 7 minutes of the New York Football Giants season. If you're prepared
Sure.
to go, let's
I've
go.
got some info.
Do you have the schedule all built out? Do you
I got it.
Positions?
I'll do the shares. Just bear with me.
Okay, so how about this? Why don't I give you the info I have to make my case, and then we can go over the schedule, and I'll make my picks if you want to do it that way.
Do it.
I'll say that Mike is right. I discussed with Mike that I was very upset with Doug, but I also texted Doug to let him know I was unhappy with how he previewed the Giants. So I dug into some statistics, and I'm glad that what I found backed up the argument that I was making before really looking. At
Good
it.
job stalling. I can't fucking get there, but I'm getting there.
That's
Jesus.
okay. So the main thing that we were talking about last week that I had an issue with was
I hate this browser, man. All right. So anyway, go ahead.
the offense, okay? We know
Yeah.
there's a lot of haters out there. There's a lot of people that don't believe in Daniel Jones. Obviously, I believe in Daniel Jones. I drafted him in the 6th round this year after I missed out on Joe Burrow.
I mean, that's also because you had like one pick before the 6th round. So,
Yeah, but the thing was, I could have taken him or Gino,
oh, Josh, you have to drink.
4.
Your
Oh,
cat
cat.
is in. If your cat
Oh.
comes in,
Okay.
yes.
Pepper's going to come over and give her picks and probably jump on his shoulder. All right, so here we go. So the offense for last year. Now, we all need to pay attention and keep in mind the fact that we had no receivers. None. We had no receivers, and our offensive line was crap. But
Yes.
when you look back at the offense from last year, we were 16th in total points, so the halfway mark of the league, that's great. We were 18th.
I don't know if that's
Yeah.
great.
It's
That's
great
average.
considering- Great considering.
Great is doing a lot of lifting there.
Here comes the homer.
It's okay.
We were mediocre in the we were middle of the pack.
I will
And that
say
was
for the
great.
Giants in the last decade, that is fucking great, by the way.
It is
I mean,
great.
based on keep going. I don't want to
Like,
cut you off.
like
Hey,
since
hey,
the
hey.
Super Bowl year.
You were going to give me the floor. It's great in context.
I mean, that's what we do, Josh. We're gonna make fun of you for the stupid shit you say, right? So keep going.
16th in total points, 18th in total yards. We were
Which
eighth-
was amazing.
we were. It's getting better. We were 8th in first downs, 8th in total first downs. Pretty good.
Isn't I would think that would be a negative
Deceptive.
if you were 8th in first downs and you were 16th in total points. Means you're not converting in the red zone. Oh,
Yeah,
Doug, you
like
need
you're
to drink,
not
Doug.
moving the ball well. You're not busting any plays.
My next stat supports being 8th.
Doug, you
Downs.
have to drink.
Yep.
One of the cats was I don't know which cat that is.
So we were also 13th in the total number of plays. on offense.
Which is dynamic.
Well, the thing was, without a receiving core,
Next level.
you're going to be inefficient in the red zone without a receiving core, and that's what happened. So we were 26th in passing yards, which was terrible, obviously, but 4th.
Which was next generational. That was a generational offensive output from our receiver, which supports why Daniel Jones is why you took him in the 6th round. Totally understand.
That's a guy you got to lock up. I mean, he's 26th in the league in passing yards. You want to?
I'm sorry. I will be quiet. I'm having. Too
Yeah,
much
I wouldn't have mentioned that one. I would have left that one out.
I'm presenting an open and honest argument.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a
I- I
comma.
was-
There's a comma after 26 in passing yards. We were 4th in rushing yards,
yeah.
4th in total.
They can
rushing
run.
yards, 4th in rushing touchdowns, and 4th in rushing yards per game. And
Yes.
we were 31st in the league in turnovers. 31st.
Yeah. No, God, he has come such a long way, right, Jones?
You
Right.
mean 31st, like in a good way, like when
In a
you
good
had
way.
the
Sure.
second least turnovers. Okay.
Amount of turnovers. Now, in the draft, 2 notables. John Michael Schmitz,
Yeah.
who was arguably the best center in the draft. Looking forward to him. He's going to help our line. Jalen Hyatt, the Biletnikoff winner in 22. So whether he's going to be great, do I expect him by next year to be 1,100 yards? Probably not, but he'll stretch the field, which is going to help us out.
Yeah.
And we had the now injured Darren Waller, which is terrible. That just came down. If
He's
don't know.
playing though, just so you know, he's playing tomorrow.
I thought they
tonight.
said he was playing.
But no one
He's-
wanted to see that he has a hamstring issue.
Yeah, that
That's,
sucks, man.
We added Paris Campbell, and I think Paris Campbell is underrated.
He is.
He's a good receiver, and this is something that you guys might blow your mind. Isaiah Hodgins, okay, last year he ran only 108 routes. Okay, this was, even though it was his 3rd year in the league, it was his first real experience getting on the field. So Isaiah Hodgins last year in win rate versus man coverage and route win rate, he was number 1 in the league. Number 1 in the league. So all those times he was catching balls and we were like, wait, can this guy play? The stats show that he knows how to run routes and he can get open, and Jones can find him. And in 2019 at Oregon State, he had 1,171 yards and 13 touchdowns with a 30.7% target share. So in his last year in college, he was used and he was productive.
Yeah, he was the alpha there.
Right. So he can be our number 1 this year.
Can I ask you a question, or you want to keep going?
Sure.
So in terms of the wide receivers, do you have a feel on who's in who's going to be the 2 starters, then who's going to be in the the 11 when 3 come out, or you know what I'm talking about? Like, is it going to be a mess like Kansas City on Thursday night where guys are rotating in and out, or is it going to be Campbell on the field a lot, Hodgins on the field a lot?
I don't think it's going to be a mess. I think on the outside, I think it's going to be Hodgins,
Slayton
Hodgins and Slayton and Campbell.
and Hyatt,
On the
right?
inside, right. And on the inside, we have Wandell coming back, and I
Right.
think Wandell's going to be good for us.
And Sterling.
Did he win? Oh, and you still have Sterling Shepard. So that's your.
Yeah, no,
those
it's
are
just
your
like a lot of
6.
dudes. I'm just wondering how that shakes out, in your
It's a
opinion.
lot
And
of-
do any of those guys play special teams, or do you have 6 legit
Shepard's
wide
the backup
receivers?
punt returner, which scares the hell out of me.
But who, like,
Um,
so, most of the time you got your three guys that are starting, right? Your fourth guy may or may not play some special teams, and your fifth and sixth guy do play special teams. But from what you just said to me, like, I don't know, does Slayton play special teams? I doubt it.
No,
no,
Does Wandell play special teams?
no,
no.
Right. So that's a
Yeah.
lot of receivers that
right,
nobody really knows who the fuck is doing what, right?
right.
Like, there's no clear cut, and I guess that's fine for competition, but that
Yes, it's
scares
not
me
necessarily
from
a
a
bad thing.
roster standpoint. You're right.
Well, I think there's some feeling out, but I think the main takeaway here is that there's a lot more talent this year.
Yes, yes,
And Jones he's been a very high completion quarterback. He was 67.2% last year, which was good for fifth best in the league in completion percentage. And
Which you
gotten
have
better
to
at-
give.
he's
You
gotten
have
better
to give Dayball so much credit for turning that guy into a starting caliber NFL quarterback and playing to his strengths.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know how you get, and I want to pose this question. I've asked Doug and Josh. I don't want to cut you off, but I want to get your opinion on this. We talked a lot on the show over the offseason, which is fucking over. that are we going to sign Daniel Jones long term and franchise Barkley? Are we going to franchise Jones and sign Barkley? What are you going to do? And it was played out the way that we thought it would, but that doesn't mean that Doug was necessarily keen on giving a long term deal to Daniel Jones. But you kind of had to,
That's
right?
all right.
So I want your take on it, Josh. Like, what do you feel about the
So-
4-year commitment?
Going into it, I really did want to sign Jones long term. I think his yearly salary, I think he got like 36 or 37, something like that for 4 years. I think that was a little higher than I was hoping for. Originally, before the offseason, I was like, man, I hope he takes, 100 million 4 years, 25 per. And that was completely unrealistic. But I'm glad we signed him because you know what? I think 2 years of that is the real contract. And I think we had to do that because if we didn't do that, what else were we going to do?
right.
We don't want to franchise him and just let's show him support. The team show them support. The organization show them support and see what he's going to do. And last year, this is a huge thing. Do you know he was tied for second in the league in game-winning drives with 5? So not only was his completion percentage good, and he didn't have any receiving core, he had 5 game-winning drives.
Yeah, man.
Well, that also shows that the Giants were playing a lot of close games, right?
They were, but they were an incredible second half team last year. That's when all the magic was happening. If anybody, they weren't getting out into huge leads, right? They were wearing teams down.
Except for against the Vikings in the playoffs.
Well, yeah,
He was dealing with, he got sacked 44 times last season, which was 5th overall. So the thing is, if this guy, Michael Schmitz, works out, and now we have Thomas at left tackle, he's locked up and arguably the best left tackle in the league. And now we have Neal at right tackle. Year 2 should be better. I think our guards are pretty good. I'm a little scared about the offensive line, but I think now with Wandell healthy and with Barkley coming back, he could take dump offs. I think we're going to move the ball. I think I'm very excited about it. I really am.
I mean, your guys' offense is like a replication of the Bills' offense, obviously, right? With Dayball,
smaller scale, but yeah.
And he has turned Daniel Jones into a smaller scale version of Josh Allen, right? I don't know if Daniel has as big of an arm as Josh Allen does, but he definitely has gotten him to start running more than he did originally and getting rid of the ball quickly. Because if you remember when Josh Allen first came out, the big knock on him is his accuracy was garbage. He could run, and he's a gigantic guy that can run, but he had a cannon for an arm, but he just couldn't, make the easy passes and whatnot. Now he's obviously become a Pro Bowl quarterback and able to do all the things that he needs to do. So the fact that that's your offense now, and you have the running back in place in Barkley that's back to his otherworldly form, and you have you talked about your receiving core being better. The jury's still out from a non-Giants fan. I think Jalen Hyatt could develop into something, but he's a third-round pick, pretty much a deep threat at this point, and Wandell is a slot guy, right? So you guys have high hopes for them, but
right.
they haven't proven anything yet. Hodgins has half a year of doing something, so let's see if he can replicate it. Slayton has always had hands of stone. Shepard can't keep his ACL intact, and
look, Mike, there's no Diggs here yet. There's no alpha dog yet. We're building some nice depth though.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just
worried that Waller's the number one. If he's hurt though, this group
that's a problem.
Might have some trouble. Josh, if you don't mind, I did think of 3 things I want to key on for this season this morning. Let me get them out real quick, and then you can keep going. But and by the way, the Waller thing is probably number 4. I wasn't really thinking about that. What was I going to say? Okay, so you already mentioned Neal. Neal progressing is my first one. Definitely want to see that. You know who else I want to see not progress but be healthy? Number 2, Ojulari on the other side of Tibbs. If he could stay healthy all year, that is a nasty front line. Nasty.
Yes.
And number 3, if Deonte Banks can at least be a number 2 and run with guys and just be a good player this year, that's a damn good defense all of a sudden.
Our defense, it was bend but don't break last year.
Right.
We gave up a lot of yards.
But with a bunch of cast-offs.
Yeah, we gave up a lot of yards, a lot of first downs, but we did a lot of really good things. The lineup is great this year. And what Mike doesn't know, I'm sure, Doug, I've already discussed this with you, is we have the best nose tackle in the league.
Right.
Dexter Lawrence. And, Dave Gettleman, I've given him a lot of grief. I've called him every name in the book.
Yeah.
Gettle hummus and all that stuff. But
you and me both.
This stat I learned from Brett Coleman. And if anyone watching or listening doesn't know
respect to Brett.
Look up Brett Coleman online, last name Kollman. He is awesome at creating NFL content, and he really knows his stuff. And the NFL is actually catching on now and hiring him to do things.
Yeah, I hope he's making money. He's he puts his life into that shit. So. Jesus. Sorry.
Yeah, Coleman's now. And one thing that he studied the nose tackles in the league because he wanted to look into Dexter Lawrence. So as far as QB pressures last year for nose tackles.
Let me ask one question because I know Wink Martindale is your D coordinator. Are you guys running a 3-4 now? Is that okay?
We run a 3-4.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so with Dexter Lawrence last year, so you look at a big stat with nose tackles. Are they getting to the quarterback, or are they just a big dude in the middle stopping runs? Dexter Lawrence last year had 43 QB pressures. 43. The second nose tackle, there were 2 guys in the league, tied for second place, had 12.
Yeah, he's a freak at that position. Absolutely.
Tripled the QB pressures.
Yep.
So Dave Gettleman has made some really good picks now in retrospect. I'm glad
he's Leonard Williams is still in there too. That's Gettleman.
Yeah, and so the line, our D-line this year, so we're starting Lawrence, Leonard Williams, and A'Shawn Robinson. Robinson's whatever, but we've got guys to back up Robinson.
No, he's good depth. We didn't have that last year.
And our inside linebackers, we have Bobby Okereke, who's now going to be the play quarter.
Upgrade.
Micah McFadden. Our outside linebackers are Kayvon Thibodeau, who should be better this year. And I don't care that dude, have you seen his outfits? They're kind of crazy.
I love Tibbs.
We have Azeez Ojulari. And then our corners, we have Adoree Jackson, we have Deonte Banks, arguably top 2 at cornerback, who in the first 2 games of preseason, I know this, gave up 0 completions to his receivers that he was covering. And then we have Xavier McKinney and Jason Pinnock at starting.
Yeah, we haven't even mentioned McKinney. That's a good defense.
Yeah, it's a good defense.
And Pinnock really, really progressed. Yeah. He was a waiver cast off last year. So let's roll, baby. And look,
let's go.
Go ahead. Let's go. But beat the Cowboys. If they're still outclassed by the Cowboys tonight, 8-9. Maybe.
And I'll say that too, Doug. If you're playing Dallas at home,
Yeah, this is huge.
on Sunday Night Football.
Statement.
If you can't, I don't think the Cowboys are going to be great this year. They're
No.
transitioning
Let's
from
get 'em.
Zeke to Pollard at running back, which actually may be an upgrade. They have a new offensive coordinator that they blamed everything on last year, right? Kellen Moore. He was the fucking fall guy, right? And then it's funny that the Chargers snatched him up within 30 seconds. McCarthy,
Chargers going to Charger.
I mean, talk about teams with bad offensive coordinating. But so then you got Dak, who's still there, who led the league in interceptions last year. You got a new tight end. They got Brandon Cooks and CeeDee Lamb on the outside, and they got Tony Pollard. Their offensive line is
Getting old.
It's getting old, but it's still better.
It's still solid. But
decent.
Yeah.
And their defense, I don't know. They got Diggs, but he's a great ball hawk, but he's not a great coverage guy.
Parsons is a pretty damn good player. So
Diggs,
Mike Parsons is an otherworldly player.
Diggs, their cornerback, has 17 interceptions in the last 3 years.
Yeah, Diggs is a ball hawk.
He also gets beat. Look it up.
Yeah, he
see
does.
how many touchdowns he's given up.
He gets beat.
But I think at home, if you got to Doug's point, and it is opening week, so we're not going to judge the whole season by opening.
No.
But if you wanna talk about being the cream of the crop or second, at least wild card contender, you got to beat Dallas. You got to beat Dallas at home.
I agree, and you and Doug brought it up. I can look at all these stats and be very positive, but I am still very concerned and anxious about tonight against Dallas.
Yeah, I am too.
Glad that we're at home, and like I told Doug, I think if we can go 2-2 against the Eagles and Cowboys this year, I'll be very happy.
Oh God, yeah.
Happen.
But that means you probably have to sweep the Cowboys because I don't see you beating the Eagles at all. The Eagles are, unless the Eagles run into like some sort of injury, bug. Yeah. That team went to the Super Bowl last year and probably should have won. They. Oh yeah. I mean, the D coordinator, who's now the coach of the Cardinals, who's an idiot, literally said the other day, "I'm the reason that we lost the Super Bowl," and he's not wrong.
Dude, that's an obvious tank job out there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see his intro, that embarrassing intro video he did with the players?
No.
Oh, God, look it up if you haven't.
He's starting Josh Dobbs.
Yeah.
And we talked about this a little last week because somehow this is our year Arizona version.
Yeah, right.
And I don't understand. I mean, I do understand. They're tanking, right? But you had Colt McCoy. You could have just tanked with him. Yeah. I guess this guy wants to run. Maybe Dobbs is more of a Jalen Hurts type, which is fine. But
you see, Caleb Williams is like, I might stay in school, depending on the team. And but that's definitely about Arizona, right?
Yeah, of course. Of course. Well, Arizona thinks they can trade Kyler, and you know what? They'll be, if they finish last, they will be able to trade Kyler. They'll get another first round pick at least, and they'll fucking draft Caleb Williams.
Listen, great. If Arizona, who we all know is tanking hard, if Caleb Williams stays in school, that is good for Michael here because he picked up Kyler Murray off waivers.
Oh, right.
It might be a piece that you can keep. So that was a good pickup.
Thank you. I think that's a good segue, Joshua. Maybe we should. Do we want to do like your prediction overall, and then we can talk a little fantasy football?
How about this? I'll just give you overall 10-7.
Okay.
But how?
No, I like it. But God, please win tonight. I'm right with you, brother.
Let's win tonight. I think 10-7. I think.
I want to know why do you think 10-7? Because your schedule is not easy. So talk to me about 10-7. Where is that happening? Let's give
Arizona.
The fans what they want.
There's one.
There's one. So you're good. So you're going to beat Dallas tonight, right?
So we're starting 2-0, right?
Let's beat Dallas tonight. Because
beat Dallas tonight. Go to Arizona. Beat Arizona.
Yep.
San Francisco.
No
loss.
Yes.
Seattle at home.
Win.
Return to Geno. Let's get him.
Mm-hmm. Miami on the road.
Tough. If Terran Armstead, their left tackle's out, win. If not, I would chalk it up to a loss. Let's put it as let's make it a loss. Let's make it a loss. So
that's
3-2. Buffalo at Buffalo.
Loss.
That's
Oof.
Dayball's return home. You're not going to
night
give him any
game.
credit, huh?
Wait, we have a lot
okay.
of night games.
But you know what? We're not going 14-3 this year. So,
So 3-3 after Buffalo. Then you're going to play Washington at home. What's that?
Yes, we're winning. We're beating Washington at home.
Okay, 4-3. Jets at home.
This got to be a dub, right?
I'm going to say that's a loss.
Okay, we're 4-4 going to Vegas. What are we doing in Vegas?
We're beating Vegas.
5-4 going to Dallas. 5-4. What are we doing in Dallas?
In Dallas, we're losing.
Oh,
5-5 going to Washington. What are we doing in Washington?
We are winning.
6-5 home to New England.
We are winning.
7-5 bye week. Then home to Green Bay.
Winning.
Another prime time.
8-5 at New Orleans.
Losing.
8-6 at Philadelphia.
Losing.
8-7 at home versus the Rams.
Winning.
And better win.
9-7 going into the last game at home against the Eagles.
There it is. He's predicting
Josh
to win.
is predicting
I like it.
a
I mean, you kind of had to, but
right.
We'll be resting guys, and we'll be fighting for a playoff spot. Winning.
You don't. Yeah.
Fair.
Okay. I mean, it's not out
It's
of
fair, yeah,
out of the realm. Like I think they could go anywhere from 7-9 to 7-9 to 7-10 to 10-7. So yeah, I think it's a good one, Josh.
and honestly, like
And I'm
look at
glad
it this way: we were supposed to suck ass last year, and then be like 8-9 this year.
Dude, when we did our
It's a-
season preview last year,
Oh,
'cause
God,
we've
yeah.
been doing it this long. We thought you guys were going to be like 4-13 last year.
3-14, I think I picked.
Yeah, we thought you guys were going to be talking about having the number one pick this year and
I
tanking
agree.
for like Bryce Young, and look at where you are.
I think I
So-
picked the games last year as well.
Yeah, it wasn't looking great.
No.
So
So
let's segue into the fun part of the show. And Josh, have you finished your first beer? Because if you haven't, you need to. Let's segue into that's
I
not
do
even
too,
a
I guess.
half. Can you slam, please? Let's Doug. Let's pull up some rosters here. Let's pull up
which league? The home league, right?
Let's just do our league. Let's not do the dynasty league because then we'll be here
Okay.
forever.
right.
Let's just talk about our home league
right.
where Josh is the reigning champion, first time ever in the
He is.
18-year history.
Respect here.
He is.
Cheers to you, sir.
Respect.
Thank you.
So I think in the spirit of what we want to do here, we probably need to take a look at Josh's team.
We're going Josh
Let's
first.
look at Josh's team first, right? We got to give the champ his due.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, Josh. So you're rolling with Geno Smith as your starting quarterback, which you picked up late in the draft, right? You were 7th or later.
Round, first pick in the 8th.
All right, so that's a guy you can keep. Ty Chandler is your starting running back, the backup running back for the Vikings.
Not
That's-
good. Not
That's
good.
Not ideal.
I would say that's not ideal.
Well-
David Montgomery was your first pick overall in the
And
draft.
he's looking very good.
And he had a great first week. He got 21 carries. And,
Let's talk about the
you know,
Lions for a second,
looking-
man.
Looking good.
I
Let's talk
think
about the
that I
Lions.
was right about like the Kansas City defense getting exploited, but I kind of forgot that's a running team. Right, Montgomery's going to put up a ton of points this year. I know Jahmyr Gibbs kind of didn't get any touches, like kind of slow debut, right? But he'll be a weapon too. Seeing him
He did. He actually. Let's talk.
seeing
about
him
that for a
dance
second,
around,
because he was
right,
on my
reminded
team.
me of young Le'Veon. I just want to get that out there, similar
He-
type of player.
He had a touchdown. Gibbs had a touchdown, and he got fucking tackled by the turf monster. He.
Oh yeah,
was
no, I
fucking-
remember that. He had a
He broke
Clear
to the
shot.
outside. He was clear shot to
he
the
did.
corner, and he tripped over his own
Yeah.
2 feet. And I was watching that from the restaurant bar with my wife, and I was the only one that cared about the fucking Detroit Lions in Irvine, California. And I was like, "God damn it!" And everyone just stopped and looked at
Nice.
me, and I was like,
I didn't. I
Fantasy
forgot he
football
was on your
guys.
team against me this week. So
Yes.
I
I mean, if I lose by less than 6, you're welcome. Turf Monster.
First game jitters.
Wins You know, hey man, but he did look good. He broke more tackles in the first game than any rookie's ever done in their first game.
Yeah,
Some
the
stupid
Lions
stuff like
look
that.
good. Dan Campbell's really. I mean, who knew? He's a coach. I think.
And Jared Goff, he's about to break possibly break the fucking
Yeah.
completion
Third all
without
time.
an interception record. Yeah, and he looks okay, man. I will
He's-
say he climbs the pocket better than he used to, but he still throws fucking wounded
Yeah,
ducks, man. I
it's
mean,
not
his
great.
balls look. It
It's
looks
not.
like me throwing out there. I'm like, Jesus
He's had a
Christ, dude, you were the
weird
first overall
career,
pick.
weird career, right? Because like
He was the first
they
overall
were
pick
nasty
coming
in
out of Cal.
2018, 2019 in LA, right? Like that offense.
Yeah, he took him to the Super Bowl,
And that
but
offense
it
put up
was
points.
It was because Todd Gurley was fucking.
Well, no,
nasty.
and Cooper and what's his face, Robert Woods and all those guys. That was a fun offense.
The thing with Goff is, no, I agree with both of you. I think, and Doug, I think, and as I told you, you should have started Cousins this week. But
I wanted to play.
But the thing with Goff, the reason why I can believe in the Lions is because look at their top 3 pass catchers, or the top 3 players that can catch the ball within close vicinity to the line. So you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, which is arguably one of the top 7 wide receivers in the league. Yep. He can catch it close to the line and yak. All right. You have this new guy, Jahmyr Gibbs. This is what he was built for. He's a tiny little dude. He's like, if I was him.
He's not tiny, though. He's not tiny. Everyone just calls him
he's
tiny.
About 195 pounds.
No, but he reminds me of Le'Veon, like the build. Like he's a little taller.
He's going to be really good. But, my point is that you could dump it off to him and run slants and run screens, and he could be great. And then you have Montgomery, who I think Montgomery will have between 12 and 18 rushing touchdowns this year. But I also think that he can catch the ball. He demonstrated, I liked him coming out of college. He's demonstrated that he can catch the ball as well. You have those 3 players. Jameson Williams, I don't know that he's ever coming back. Who knows if he's
but Josh Reynolds looked again another quiet number 2 guy. He's their big guy, and he had 4 catches for 80 yards.
Bet.
And
solid bet. Sorry,
Laporta didn't have a great. Also, another rookie on the at tight end. He didn't have a great showing, but he played solid, and he played 80% of the.
That's all you look at, right? The snap count. That's
right. Yep. And he had like 6 targets. I think he had like 3 catches. He didn't do anything great.
That's a fine debut.
Bad. That's a fine debut.
I would be ecstatic if Musgrave does that today.
And that team has a fucking great offensive line, and their defense is very underrated.
Yep,
underrated. They're going to be a problem. They are probably going to win the Central. I can't tell you the last time the Lions won the Central. Probably when Eric Kramer was the quarterback.
Scott Mitchell.
1992. So
but
anyway.
They've really overhauled their secondary, especially.
Well, hopefully Brian Branch isn't out for an extended period of time. I haven't looked at his injury report, but he also had a pick 6 and then walked off the field with something that looked like a knee injury.
Always great to see Andy Reid
lose
a game on national TV, though.
And, look, I don't like Kadarius Toney, but I kind of felt bad for the guy. Clearly he had some jitters going on or something. I know you guys probably hate him. But
I don't hate the guy.
He definitely looks like Willem Dafoe, like the. Think about that.
Sorry, just making out over here.
That's all right. So let's keep going. You got Tyreek Hill as your keeper.
Wait, before we brought something up and you gave me a dig on Chandler, I need to point this out. The reason why I have Montgomery as my first running back and Chandler as my second is because I had no picks. I knew that
we talked about that.
Yeah, no worries.
We can still shit on your team.
Yeah.
We can still shit on your team.
I think Chandler might be better than Madison.
Long term, hell yeah.
So I think, he was a good, I think I got him in the 9th round or 10th round or something.
Sure, but you're going to start him over Evan Hull, huh?
I am.
Okay. So Tyreek Hill, great receiver, not tradable. Sky Moore,
man.
Ugh.
See, exactly what I'm talking about with the offseason groupthink bullshit. Enough.
Well, I mean, not enough. Unless you're referring to the fact that he underperformed in his first game because he had like 1 catch.
Why is he lining up on the outside? He wasn't getting any separation. I don't understand what's going on with. I think Andy Reid just hates fantasy players, and they broadcast like certain guys are going to get targets. and then they.
I just think that they like talking about your guys' receiving core.
It's the same thing.
The Chiefs' receiving core is a poo poo platter of poo poo. And what you saw with Travis Kelce being out is probably, if Darren Waller isn't playing for you guys, it's probably going to be something similar. These guys couldn't get open because what happens is Kelce draws the coverage in the middle of the field, and then they get one-on-one and they can run fucking different patterns.
More was smothered.
And Kadir,
our receiving core compared to what's after Kelce.
I'll take the Giants.
I don't think so, man. I think you guys. I think what you're going to see though is the rookies, Rice, and I think Justin Ross, and even Justin Watson was getting a lot of run.
He was,
and I think those are going to be your starting because that guy is not going to play. Valdez-Scantling is probably going to be the deep threat, and that's it. And we'll see. But I don't know who cares about the Chiefs. Let's talk about Chris Olave over here. That's good. You got two good receivers and a good running back.
Look. Sky more than Chris Olave. It's last year's DFF draft.
Oh, Doug. That's great. Doug drafted Sky Moore over Chris Olave.
And Christian Watson, for the record.
In Dynasty. And Doug started Sky Moore against me in Dynasty and got 0.4 points or some shit. I don't even know.
I think Doug and I did the same thing with Moore. He had this opportunity. This was his opportunity. So we needed to start them, to see what's going on. But what people don't talk about, Mahomes made a lot of bad passes.
He didn't look good.
A lot of bad passes. Yeah. No, he didn't look good.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's not like he was dropping balls like Tony. Oh, God, Tony, though.
Mahomes put the ball on Tony, who dropped the ball, I think, 4 times.
But Sky also, I didn't see anything from Sky. No separation. So it's troublesome.
I think maybe a pass thrown to him that was catchable. So either way, it's not a good look, and he might be in my team for one more week.
I mean, I'm going to put him on my bench, but he was definitely the first look a couple of times. But Mahomes was like, no, he's not open, and immediately went somewhere else. So we'll see. Lockett, or no, you want to talk Juwan or Olave? Olave is awesome.
Olave is awesome. I mean, Hill and Olave, you did good with your keepers. David Montgomery was a great first pick at the end of the second round. Juwan Johnson is. I'm not going to really shit on him. Tight ends in general are whatever.
He's a third-year breakout, and he's got a quarterback now who loves throwing the ball to the tight end.
Yeah,
I just would be really, really worried about Jimmy Graham vulturing all the fucking red zone touchdowns.
Well, I'm not one that worries about Jimmy Graham or Michael
Thomas.
Thomas.
What year is it?
Michael Thomas is already partially injured, and he's 50 years old.
Yes. Okay. I'm just pointing out facts, bro.
I legit had no idea Jimmy Graham was on the Saints, still in the league.
I thought I honestly, when he signed with them, I thought it was like the one-day contract to retire thing. And then I saw him playing in preseason. I was like, oh, he still plays?
His contract brought back to be like a guy who'll get on the field for 15 snaps, and he helps the equipment manager. It's not like a real position. It's not.
By the way, just watch Derek Carr just absolutely go off now that he's free of the Raiders. That would be funny.
Dude.
It turns into Breeze, too.
2 years ago, he threw for 4,500 yards.
He could play.
Carr is going to go full eye makeup.
Full My Chemical Romance.
Yes, he's going to be the emo QB.
I don't know how you deduce that, but hey.
No, you've seen the picture.
He's mascara.
It always looks like he's got the eyeliner on.
He's like wearing mascara all the time. And now that he's in New Orleans, like that shit's cool. So he's gonna come out with like a sleeveless top with like the tassels coming off and like a Kiss, like full Kiss makeup, hairband. It's like fuck you. Did you hear who someone was talking shit about the Raiders? And I think it was someone on the Saints to back up Carr, and they were like fuck the Raiders, and they asked him why, and he said because the fucking owner looks like he's got a bowl cut, and he looks like an asshole.
What is up with his haircut? Is he trolling everyone? I don't think so.
No, dude, he was Al Davis's son. He was grew up a little rich
Fail
kid
sons are
that never grew
fascinating.
up.
I want to write a book
How
on
does
all the
anyone
fail
in his
sons.
life think how does anyone in his life think that that's a good haircut? It might be the worst haircut on an adult.
He looks like Chucky the doll. He looks like the adult version of Chucky the doll.
Like Lloyd
Oh.
Christmas. If
No,
Harry
the
Dunn
fat-
had
fat
Lloyd
ginger.
Christmas's haircut, how about that?
It makes his head look like, a penis head. Like that's the thing. Got the thing, and it just comes out like this.
I don't
Did you
get
know
it,
that
man.
he
I don't know.
every day he sits at the bar at PF Chang's for lunch and just eats? Like, he's a weird dude.
I don't doubt it. Yeah.
The hookers might be so scared, but they're like, "We'll take the money. It's fine."
I mean, he's definitely like mid-50s, not married, right?
Yeah,
so
probably.
I believe
Dude,
hookers living in Vegas. I believe
Yeah.
hookers are probably a
Oh,
thing.
God. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
a
like
real life Billy
$200
Madison.
It's fine.
So Tyler Lockett, great, guy to have.
Still in the league.
Probably,
I'm kidding. He's
yeah. I don't know. I probably would have started him over Sky Moore, but I did tell you to start Sky Moore, so I probably wouldn't have told you to do that. In
Hey,
retrospect,
Zay
I
might
can't do
go
it
off
in
this year,
retrospect.
too. I like Zay.
Let's scroll down a little bit here. Cowboys defense, who cares? They should be good. Daniel Jones, okay, you got yourself your Homer Core QB. That could be something. Now, I like a little bit of your bench here, buddy. Evan
love this
Hall,
bench.
I don't know. Zay Flowers, I would have started him, but maybe I wouldn't have.
Just
Marvin Mims, I know you love Marvin Mims.
I love Marvin Mims.
Um,
Love me some Marvin Mims.
Elijah Moore, I think is going to be great in Cleveland, even though I hate him. Laporta and Musgrave, two rookie tight ends, darts at a wall,
Yep.
right? Darts at a wall because in a 1 year league, these guys may or may not blow up. But overall, Josh and Doug, what do we think this team is going to do? How do we think we're going to end the season?
It doesn't exactly play in a juggernaut division, so Josh is always going to be in it. I don't know, though. There are obviously a couple of holes here, but I'm not going to trash this. I mean, he's coming off a championship where he dropped some picks.
I'm aiming for the 6th seed. I just want to make
exactly.
it
That's what this squad is, fighting me for the last spot, most likely, around Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I just think the lack of a RB2 is going to probably be your Achilles heel, and you need to probably figure that out.
That's what happens in our league. Picks go, and then you're sitting there.
I agree with you, but I just need to see. I have a nice receiving core and tight ends, and I'll see. I'll work it out.
Yeah.
I always work it out.
All right. Who we doing next?
I think we should just go straight to our
matchup.
Our score, our matchup. Yes.
All righty. Mikey with a touchdown from Gibbs.
Not quite. Should have had a touchdown.
The big brains from CBS give you a 52% chance, which
that stuff never really works.
Yeah, I mean, they also wanted everybody to draft Jared Goff in the first round. So where do you want to start?
True.
Let's start with Mike. So obviously Josh Allen. I definitely do not want Mike to take him because he's awesome.
Yeah.
That was a great pick, and obviously you just keep him in every week, and he's going to give you top 3, top 4. Yeah, J.K. Dobbins. Listen, I got burned by him a few years ago, and he doesn't really. Lamar does not throw those running backs, but obviously he's got a lot of talent and a lot of skill.
What do you guys think of the Ravens? Are they going to come out gangbusters here?
Well, I think Andrews being hurt is not great, but I do think that Todd Monken is a very well-respected offensive coordinator, and I think, for the last 5 years of Lamar's career, he was under Greg Roman, who is a heavy run guy. Was it Greg? What was the guy? Is that who it was? Greg Roman?
I think so.
Greg Roman.
Yeah.
That's right.
So they were, heavy run. They really focused on Lamar running the ball, which is, you can look at all the stuff in the media about Lamar and a big contract. That was the main reason they didn't want to give him a big contract, because he's a small guy. Right. He's taken a lot of hits, and he basically held himself out the end of last year because he wanted a new contract. And the Ravens realized, I think, kind of what you guys were saying about Daniel Jones. There was really no alternative. You had to pay the guy, right? So So they paid him. They brought in a guy. And now they're going to like try and let him go air raid a little bit more passing. They brought in Odell. They brought in Zay Flowers. They still got Mark Andrews. J.K. Dobbins is healthy. And I believe they got another receiver. Oh, they still got Rashawn Bateman
Bateman's
there too,
hanging
right?
around.
They have Duvernay. Duvernay is not a starter, but he's really athletic. He's a decent third, fourth wide receiver.
So they got some weapons now around Lamar. I think they paid Odell a shit ton of money to come in and be their number one. I don't agree with what they paid him, but I think he's got enough left in the tank and knows how. You don't think so? He was great when he played for LA 2 years ago. Helped. That Super Bowl doesn't happen without Odell.
2 years ago, and he's so fucking. We know OBJ. I wouldn't count on.
I think I agree with Mike. They overpay them. I think all they need them to do is stay healthy and draw coverage. If he can draw coverage, and he's healthy. If Lamar stays healthy, and if Bateman. Listen, if Bateman or OBJ stay healthy and Flowers is who we think he is,
I think Flowers is going to be the best wide receiver out of this rookie class.
Yeah, I could see that. You know what I think of Beckham? Best case is sort of late career Deshaun Jackson, a dude who knows how to play, can stretch the field. I don't think he's going to be the other guy. We'll see.
I think that's
really?
Wait. Especially in Lamar's offense, he's going to be the guy that Lamar takes shots with. He's not getting fed the ball though. I
totally disagree with you.
Now with Andrews out, maybe,
I think Odell's going to catch. He's going to get targeted the most of all the receivers, not including if we're talking receivers, not tight ends, right? I think he's going to be your most targeted wide receiver on that team.
I'll take Zay because I'm bored.
I mean, that's fine. I think Zay's going to be the best wide receiver in that class this year, like I said. But I think Odell, 1 year, $18 million, he's going to get the ball targeted to him, and he's going to be that number one that I think Lamar is going to rely on. Part of the reason that they ran the offense they did for so long is they didn't really have any receivers. Bateman, there was high hopes for him, but he hasn't proven anything. Can't stay healthy, and I liked him coming out of college. And then who's the Duvernay? Yeah, okay, he's a good slot guy, but I think Zay Flowers is the guy. I think that he will be the guy eventually, but not this year because he's gonna have to fucking get up to par. So I think Odell will have like 60 catches, 800 yards, and like 5 touchdowns.
But you think that's number one
in Baltimore? I think. Well, no, I think Andrews will probably have 75 catches and close to 1,000 yards.
No way. If Bateman stays healthy with Flowers. I think OBJ was brought in to give them some clout. I think he's going to spread the field, just like Doug says. You send Odell deep, you draw him coverage. He only needs to catch a couple touchdowns, a couple bombs early in the season to draw safety and a corner. And once you do that, if Andrews is healthy, you have him in the middle, you have Zay Flowers, and you have Bateman. Like, come on. Like, he was brought in and paid to help get other guys open. That's what I think.
Good stuff. So, I like it. Hey, speaking of guys who haven't played, Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, hey, dude, they downgraded his points to 5.5 projected. Which whatever, I don't care about what CBS says. And now it's back up to 8.7. But I was like, what the heck is going on?
Well, I mean, he hasn't been on the field since 2021, like October.
I love Ridley, and I wanted him for Mike wouldn't trade him.
Again, though, preseason thinking, we'll see.
He's young. Listen, I know he was off the field. He hadn't played for a year. But, man, that kid can
play. Oh, he can. He's didn't he have some weird shit where he was, thinking about quitting, though?
Yeah, he had some, depression type shit, and that's why – and I think he really just didn't want to be on the Falcons who were tanking that year. And he was getting the ball thrown to him by, was it Matt
Mariota?
Ryan? Was it Matt Ryan's last year? Or was it Mariota? I don't know. It was Matt Ryan's last year. And they were he was at the end of his career. I think they had just brought Arthur Smith in that year and Kyle Pitts was the number one pick. And then he gambled on the game, which was, but it was so dumb, dude. It was so dumb.
By the way, that rule is ridiculous.
I mean, it is and it isn't, right? Because it's a slippery slope.
Can I go 2 seconds without hearing about FanDuel? fuck off.
I mean, I know it's the number one fucking
It's all they have to do,
sponsor,
though,
right?
Listen, all they have to do is not bet on the NFL.
True.
They play in the NFL. Don't bet on the NFL. It's that simple. Like, I don't think it's
These
ridiculous.
guys have a hard time with
You can't allow
players.
players to bet on the NFL
Right.
that play in the NFL.
It's just so
You can't do
fucking
that.
two-faced, though. Just raking in all the cash.
It is. Yep.
Okay. Well, listen, Ridley's great. We could go Mike Evans. Still going to be
Classic.
good. This is going to be his last in Tampa. And he's got a horrible quarterback, but he'll still put
Woke
up
up feeling
1,000
dangerous.
yards.
That was my team name a couple years
Oh,
ago.
yeah.
I know where Doug's going with that. That was a bad year.
Oh, it was.
Was it a bad year, or was that the year that I won the whole thing? No, that was 3 years ago. No. That was 3 years ago. That
I
was
always
when
save that season in my back pocket if you ever come at me hard. I
You're,
will take a walk down memory lane.
I have tied my fantasy team twice to a Cleveland Browns quarterback, and twice I have finished probably bottom three those years.
Wait, what was it?
So
Derek
never
Anderson
again.
or somebody? Wow.
Yeah. No, that was a great year. Derek Anderson and Braylon Edwards, double points all year,
Back.
baby. Oh,
You
wait,
gotta stack
Derek
them.
Anderson stinks.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh God, that was coming off back-to-back championships, I believe, too. Oh, it's Derek
2019,
Anderson, great
no,
pick.
it was.
No, it wasn't. It was before because Aaron Rodgers was the king and still is the king.
I should have traded you that third round pick in Delaware.
Yeah, you were
Oh.
cheap.
But I
You were
did it.
cheap. You just
I Kurt Warnered myself, and then
you did.
bench.
And then you didn't even fucking start the guy.
No. I benched Kurt Warner.
The Warner
for his
Flacco
5
conundrum.
touchdown game.
I'm going to have that with Goff and Cousins this year, where I start the wrong guy every week. It's going to be great.
Let's continue. Justin
Yes.
Jefferson.
Never
Plays
heard
in
of
the
him.
league. And does the gritty better than anyone
He
in
does.
the league. That's nice.
Yes.
Although I'd like to
He
see
got
Tibbs
him
do
either.
it too. I want to compare. Kalen Thibodeau.
Not with his.
Are we mad about the
what do you
Snow
call it?
Angels with Nick Foles, or we think that's funny? I
Which-
think that ended Nick Foles' career. Maybe I'll try to bring the clip up, but when he sacked Nick Foles last year, and then like did Snow Angels, and Foles was like writhing, like
Oh,
injured,
right.
like they were both kind of like dancing on the ground at the same time. Anyway,
Poor sportsmanship. The quarterback might have been dying on the ground. He's doing snow angels. It's like he's hyped up. He's not looking at him. He's doing snow angels.
yeah, no, I am mad at him.
I think Mike's team is good, and
Yeah.
I think Goddard is good. Dalvin Cook, I think, will be, even when Brees gets really healthy, I think Dalvin's going to be solid. all
Oh God,
year.
yeah, Dalvin. Yeah, I had no picks, but I was trying to find a way to get him on my roster.
And the Saints are a very
Yeah, they are.
injury.
How many first round picks
So
is this roster? 2?
2. Gibbs and Allen were first, and then I think Dobbins was in the second
tough
round,
team.
and then I
It's-
don't know.
it's
I
not
got
the
some
best.
other guys down below.
It's a tough team.
It's not
It's a good team.
It's not
I feel good about it, but
terrifying, but it's a good team.
I think what you said, Doug, is probably where my head's at. Yeah, and Christian Watson is out. That's
Yeah.
the one guy that should be starting.
All right,
over
we
Mike
didn't look at
Evans.
the bench here.
Connor was in the
Yeah,
starting
you have some
lineup, but I
pieces
just
here.
you said the team's old, and I think it's a very it's a
Your team?
very
Did
yeah.
I? Oh.
You did.
Oh, no.
I don't think you're wrong.
I meant your other league team. It was brittle in that you can't afford any injuries. Not
my
old.
My dynasty
Yeah.
league. My
I was talking
dynasty
about that
league
one.
is I cannot afford any injuries. But yeah, I mean my bench I think has got some up and coming
Oh, dude,
young
yeah.
guys, and then I got
I like Johnson.
Connor, and I like Johnson too, but I want to see what he does before I start him. I like Kincaid, but I don't want to have to root for him. And Josh Allen on Monday night.
By the
so,
way, he kind of smacks of a guy who is overrated over the offseason.
Kincaid, I really like
At
Kincaid
least
in
this
that
year,
offense
you know
because
what I mean?
they don't have a red zone guy, and they have Stephon Diggs, right? But besides Stephon Diggs, who gets doubled in the red zone, they don't have a red zone guy.
Yeah, I mean Knox is still getting
Who?
snaps.
Dawson Knox.
Gabe Davis and Hardy are going to be on the.
I think Kincaid is a 6'6" guy that's going to line up in the slot and be a mismatch for linebackers. Dawson Knox is inline tight end that's more of a blocker than a receiver.
I mean, the good news is he's getting the snaps. Kincaid is, at least in preseason.
So we'll see. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe I'll be proven wrong.
I think
he was
great.
6'4", 254. So
I'm sorry.
Dawson Knox is 6'4", 254, and he 2 years ago had 9 touchdowns. He's 6 last year.
Right.
I think Kincaid's great. I think Kincaid is better for Dynasty.
Yes. And by the way,
this is somewhat of a Dynasty league.
Were you the one that sniped Kincaid on me last in Dynasty? No, that was Mark. Never mind.
No, I don't have.
Oh, you sniped Laporta on me, I think.
I did. That's who I have. That is who I have. And let's take a look at Douglas's team real quick, and so we can wrap this up. And
But
get ready
hey,
for the real
speaking
games.
of Quentin Johnson, here's your segue. Look, I have a guy who's immediately going to get hurt. I've never owned him before. I'm so excited to get the hamstring pulled.
Oh,
today.
I had him last year, dude. I had him last year. Last year was supposed to be his fucking breakout year, and the only thing that broke out was his ACL. He is literally questionable every fucking week.
I've been there with him.
So,
this guy. You know what? I will say Godwin right now is healthy. And the Evans, they already said they're not going to pay him, so they're probably going to trade him before week 6, hopefully to the Jets. And then Godwin will be just a target monster for you if he can.
he dropped to me in the 5th. I couldn't help it, right? I
mean, because I drafted him last year as well, and he was fucking injured every week. I shouldn't have drafted him last year.
Again, I'm just so glad we're playing again, right? And so let me back up, though, up to Fields. So much has been said in the offseason about this guy, right? I thought of
They have put everything around him to make him successful.
And before you go off on him, and feel free to, I thought of something earlier when Josh was talking about Daniel Jones, and they're not terribly dissimilar players. Obviously, Fields is a better runner, but it's not that much of a gap. What if all this hype we're giving Justin Fields in the offseason is actually the guy we're looking for is Daniel Jones? And I'll shut up.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think the difference is that Justin Fields rushed for 1,000 yards last year, right?
What did Danny get? 700?
He hit 650, something like that. But Justin Fields was the difference is he's younger, he's more exciting. 1,000 yards, something for the NFL to hype up.
Oh no, I get it.
And he had literally had nothing. So this is the make or break year for him because they have given him DJ Moore, full year now at Chase Claypool, and who's their other receiver? I'm missing.
They have Claypool, Mooney, and Moore.
They have Mooney, and now they have Khalil Herbert and Roschon Johnson,
Foreman.
Kyle Kmet. Another year in the offense.
Kmet sucks.
So he fucking
thing?
ruined my fucking fantasy year last year as well.
I have a pet peeve with media coverage and Justin Fields because so often the media will just grab onto a narrative, which they've done with Justin.
I know where you're going.
And say he can't throw. And the thing is, is his windup, are his mechanics great? No. But I can tell you
he has the longest release in all of football.
In college and in his last year, he was one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the country.
But you got to pause for a second.
That's why I was making the Jones comparison.
He played at Ohio State, who had an NFL-ready line. Pretty much everyone on their line got drafted. The year that he came out, and he had 3 NFL receivers that were first-round picks. Dude, the only thing I'll say about Justin Fields, and I've said this since day one, and I didn't want him the year he came out because that was I think that was the same year that Zach came out.
Yeah.
And everyone was comparing Justin to Zach and why are the Jets not looking at Fields? And they did. And the thing and I'm not saying Zach was the right pick because he clearly wasn't. But the thing I'll say about Justin Fields that I don't like and I still don't like is his fucking release. It's like a fucking it's like goddamn Satchel Paige out there before he throws the ball. It takes him 3 seconds to get rid of the ball. He does not have a quick release. And that's why he ends up running half the time because, he had
no one was getting
to throw it to because no one was getting open. And I don't think his line was was even NFL caliber last year. I think a lot of those things have changed, but he still has the longest release of any starting quarterback in the NFL. And you know who was number 2? I'm pretty sure it was Zach Wilson last year. And we saw how that worked out for him. And he can't run like Justin can run. So if they can shorten his release and he can still be accurate and run like he runs, I think he can turn into a weapon. But until that happens, he's just a fucking guy.
Who's the coach there? Because we need that coach. I need that coach to be Dable over there.
Eberflus, Matt Eberflus. Yeah. I don't know who they're.
But like the Nagy years were a disaster, and David Montgomery finally escaped, and he's shown a good player. I mean, who knows? But what scares me to death about Fields is that kind of what you're saying, Mike. Like he has a hard time, or maybe they have a hard time getting open, but either way, he decides, I'm going to just fucking ball. And then he'll run through the fucking center of the field. And a lot of times last year, or not a lot, but a decent amount of times it was like a 50-yard gain. But he also like snapped his ankle at the end of the game in Atlanta trying to do too much. And I just have a feeling he's going to get fucking banged up early this year. But of course, I'm ever pessimistic. Like he's going to try to do too much.
I think so. I just tried to defend Fields and go against the narrative. I think Mike made a really good point. That'll make me reassess. You're right. Listen, at Ohio State, he had great receivers and he had time because he had a great line. Now his mechanics are terrible. But even with good receivers, you still need to throw the ball accurately and throw catchable balls, which he did. So
he does. He definitely throws an accurate catchable ball. It just takes him too long to get rid of it.
So then I can change my beliefs to him. I think you're right. If the Chicago O-line, which was not
it's never good.
He's dependent on their O-line getting better.
If he has time.
And if he can be better, can overachieve, then he'll be good. Because if he gets time, he can throw the ball.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think that you it's not a bad keeper. You kept him as one of your later,
I didn't have much
keeps.
else to work with.
But if the guy does what you think he can do, and it's like a fucking high risk, high reward. If he plays the way you think he can play,
it's a fun play. It's a fun play. I'm just like, I've been here before. Like I had the same feeling about Trey Lance last year going in. Like this is it. Let's go. Ouch.
But you got Gibson and he's basically taken over J.K. What the fuck was that guy? J.D. McKissick. He's basically the third down back now
we'll see how
Washington.
It plays out.
So he's going to catch a lot of balls. Mixon is
Gibson was
a
seventh rounder, by the way, just to put in context. I didn't have my first or third year.
You want to trade me Gibson?
No.
Let's go.
No. I like him. I like him.
I think it's a solid 3. I don't know if I'd be happy as in my number 2.
I also
but, he's going to catch a lot of balls.
I watched a lot of B-Rob last year, Brian Robinson, and he's tough. I don't really see it though.
He's not dynamic.
He's not dynamic. But he was coming off 2 bullet
holes he did get shot, which by the way,
so let's give the kid to this year.
The day after I drafted him, he gets fucking. I love this game.
He's going to be the first and second down back, and Gibson's going to be more of a third down back and a flex out.
Before.
I think Doug's biggest problem with Gibson here is Ron Rivera.
Yeah.
I think Ron Rivera is a terrible coach. They have a new offensive coordinator, so maybe Bieniemy is going to use Gibson more. But Ron Rivera.
Yeah, thank you. Gibson is the better football player.
He's not a good coach. He's basically after Mike McCarthy.
Please never fire these guys, Washington and Dallas, please. I love that Mike McCarthy's still employed. Keeps me going.
So he stinks. He is the most overrated. But both of those, what both those guys have done? They've gone to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl, and McCarthy won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, won with Rodgers for a fucking decade plus.
I don't care.
I'm not impressed.
Dude, I haven't ever won a Super Bowl in my career of watching football. So, whatever, man. Whatever. You guys are spoiled fucking Giant fans that we have 4, so only one is poo-poo. And I only know what that feels like from a fantasy standpoint.
I know. I said only one with Aaron Rodgers is poo-poo.
I know.
That is you have to admit that's poo-poo.
Rivera, it wasn't great, but he still did it. And Rivera took
gonna run
the
this year from now.
Panthers to the Super Bowl. Did he take them twice? Was he the coach when Jake Delhomme was also
No,
the QB and they
no,
lost
that was
to
like
whoever they lost to?
Dom Capers or somebody, right?
Okay, I don't fucking know. I don't.
Ron Rivera was what, Minnesota before?
Can I say that Panthers Patriots Super Bowl, the first half was awesome.
Was
But
it?
We've lost Mike. Yeah, Michael has gone mute on us.
Oh yeah. Hey, Mike, you can't hear you. This might be our longest show ever, by the way. I love it.
That's cool. I'm glad we took the extra hour. Doug, I like your roster. Let me
It's
just
not
tell
bad for not having
You-
a first, right?
you, you're fighting me for the sixth seed. I don't think so. I think you're arguably the fourth best team in the league.
Ooh, I'll take that, man. Here's the issue. My fucking division is hard.
Yeah, I don't suffer from it.
Yeah, you don't. This guy, maybe not, but have we looked at fucking what's his face? This guy?
Dude, Dave and your
Yeah.
brother have two of the best. But Dave has an amazing roster.
He does,
Outside of Madison,
quietly.
he has an amazing.
Although that's, yeah, this is going to be trouble. Oh, look, he's got fucking Deontay on the bench.
Dude, he was gifted Bijan.
Yeah. He was.
Madison might be a poop factory, and then I have Chandler. I love Michael's still soiling himself. I love Garrett Wilson, Waller, if he stays healthy, Eckler. Come on.
Yeah, dude.
Herbert.
Stacked.
Deontay Johnson's on his
Right,
bench.
exactly. He's fucking stacked.
Dude,
So here, let's take a look at EPO real quick. Actually, I don't. I kind of hate his running backs. Travis can ball.
listen, if Tua can stay healthy, I think your brother
Oh, I see. He's
very dude. Allen, Diggs, and Dotson
yeah.
are arguably the best starting three in the league because I believe in
Plus
Dotson.
Andrews when he's
And I
healthy.
think Allen. Mike, we could see it. Maybe Mike, if Mike leaves the chat and comes back, are we going to get kicked?
I don't know. But I mean, we are in like the garbage time of the show anyway, so it fucking sucks
We're
though.
wrapping
Like
it up.
what's going on? Yeah, we'll wrap it up. Well, Mike usually does this part, but Josh, thank you so much for joining us. Let's fucking go Giants tonight. I'm sure we'll be talking all day. Cheers, brother. Mikey, your team sucks. I'm kidding.
Doug and Mike,
All the worst of luck to
stay
you.
on let's keep our thread going for the
We
day.
will.
You know, at least text back while we're going. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe I can come back after like week 4, quarter point of the season.
Whenever you want, buddy.
We could read something. This was a lot of fun, and I hope you guys have a good day. And I appreciate
And
it.
Via con Dios
And,
off season, right?
Fuck yeah.
Let's fucking go.
Cheers. Red zone.
Red zone
Let's
time,
go.
baby. Woo!
Woo!